Facebook appears to be ready and going live. So welcome to you both. Thank you so much for joining me today. Dish the Diet and Face the Feelings in conjunction with Nourish to Flourish. So this month, we are moving through March and we've had a whole lot of challenges happening. And today specifically, we really want to talk about wisdom equals intuition. Listening to that deep body intuition that we all have, but don't always connect to. We're not always quiet enough or calm enough or slowing down enough to make that connection. So I'm really excited to hear both of your experience with tuning in to our bodies, both with respect to exercise and movement, but also with respect to eating and just living.
Yeah, it's a journey actually, and I do agree that it is a wisdom because it takes practice and intentional practice to tune in and listen and then do what your body says that you should be doing. And that's not always easy, especially with the food and the diets. And, you know, as soon as we reach that some teenage years and so on, when we start like reading articles and so on, we just lose touch with what we want to be eating, with all the diets, and losing pounds now in spring to prepare for the summer, to go on the beach.
So and get your summer body. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. So
and I think you're absolutely right when you say that, you know, we start looking externally. Oh, the magazine said, or this diet said, or my mom says, or the nutritionist says, but that's all external to us.
And the TV says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible to avoid, really, those dieting messages. It really takes, it's much harder to stay tuned in and listen to yourself than it is to listen to anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that, Susan? What's your experience with that?
Well, and then you get busy and you have a child or children, and then where are you going to make this time? It boils down to listening actually to yourself and choosing to take the time. It's like, take the time to listen, take the time to make the decision. I was in the hospital once, and the doctor said, changed thinking equals changed action. So it starts right with the thought process, just being able to sit down with yourself in silence, which is hard to get, but someplace just to sit and honor yourself enough to know that you need to do something different, that your gut is starting to scream at you. Your gut is not being silent any longer. Listen to me. I want you, you know, up here. I want you to do something about what's going on down here. So actually, sitting, we do know what we need most of the time, but to sit there in the silence, make the decision to do something about it, research it, make a valid program for ourselves. I mean, if the diet would call for we need peas and we hate peas, well, there we go. So it has to be something workable and doable for us on our terms. If we hate sit-ups and that's the protocol someone has put in place for us, that's not going to work. But if we like dancing and walking or whatever, and we decide that's a program we're going to research and see how we can put it together, then we're going to have some successes. But the intuition is really started right when you choose to listen to yourself. I've been on many, many food plans, and the most stringent one was a liquid diet that lasted for 6 or 7 months. That was very
Wow.
difficult. It was difficult, but I did it. I was in drastic shape. I was about 245 pounds. Something needed to happen.
Yeah.
So I did do that. But at this point in my life, it is really sit, honor yourself, choose your values, make sure that it's reasonable, make sure that it's a healthy thing.
Yeah. Hey, so hello to Sharon who's watching us. Thank you so much for joining us, wonderful woman. Yeah, we're talking today just about that intuition of listening to our bodies, listening to that silence of just that pause. And one of the things that I recognize now, you know, when you're growing up as a kid, at least for me and my family, you know, you stopped before you started eating and you prayed. Well, I use that pause to stop and check in with my body of how hungry are you?
Beautiful.
Do you like what you served on your plate? And I do still bless my food, the hands that made it, the ground that grew it, the farmers that farmed it, the truckers that trucked it, you know, may they all be blessed because this is now on my table. But it's also that pause I think is really important. And because, you know, fast food, you're driving past in the car, you pull up at the window, you take it in, you're already multitasking. Okay, you're driving the car while you're eating. There's no time for check-in there. There's no, your attention, if it's not on the food, is on the road.
Absolutely.
You know, we've lost that moment of this is time to eat. Or, you know, even if you're not driving the car, you're sitting in your office at your desk eating. You're not just eating. You're kind of mindlessly putting the food in your mouth as you're typing away on the computer, reading a document, looking at the computer screen. How does your body speak to you if you are already flooded with other information and other stimuli?
Yeah, of course. And then you can't even know when you are full, when you are satisfied, when it's enough. You just eat until there is nothing more, you know. And too fast, and all of that plays a role because eating needs to be something that's a pleasurable experience. And if you are driving or being on the computer or something, you just can't tune in. That's automatically tuning out of all the signals that your body is sending you. That's also one of the reasons why I love Mediterranean diet and lifestyle, because there it's completely different. It's like the whole family sits and eats, and that lasts for as long as it needs to last, and there is jokes going on and so on, and it's so good. And then you know when you are full, and then it's, you know, you take time to chew your food and everything and laugh in between. It's a completely different set of the whole thing, the whole experience is different. And of course, when you have an hour with your family for lunch, for relaxing and so on, you are going to enjoy that eating experience. But when you are done in 10 minutes in front of the computer, no, just no.
And then you are numb. And then later it's like, what did I do to myself? Why did I do this? There is no honoring in that numbing. It's just like totally doing away with who you are in that moment.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, it's also that thing of, you know, you're not in touch with your body at the start of eating, at the finish of eating, but the same could be said even for exercising. You know, we start an exercise plan, and I can't even think of how many times I've done this. Well, I'm going to do this, and this. And I am so set on I will finish X number of repetitions of this that I'm not really tuning in to each muscle, to the real experience of that exercise. I'm so focused on, well, I'm doing 50 of these and I'm just going to get them done. As opposed to, how well am I doing each one of the 50? Maybe I should only be doing 25, but have much better form. Maybe I need to do them more slowly so that it hurts a little bit more.
What is my body telling me? What is the wisdom inside me speaking? Is it saying, stop now, alter this, try a little different version? What does my body speak to me?
Exactly.
Does it say, okay, I want to do 20 today, but I'll do 10 now and I'll do 10 later, and that's okay?
Yeah.
And we're not listening to all of that because we're living on a schedule. Well, I've only got 30 minutes and I'm going to get this done now.
Yeah, I think it also has with taking responsibility, because when you decide that you are going to follow some meal plan, you are giving responsibility for your nutrition and your health to someone else. And the same is with exercise. It's just a matter of taking responsibility and tuning in, knowing what is your body wanting to tell you. And with exercise, it also depends on the side of menstrual cycle, because your energy is not the same for women, of course. During the whole month, it goes in the cycles, and when someone disrespects that, it's actually hurting the body, because if you are at your period or just about to get it and you put yourself through an hour in the gym and your body can't handle it, you just have the stress hormones all over the place, and it's a whole mess.
Absolutely. And then your period cramps can be worse than they were going to be if you hadn't done that. Now, I mean, one of the beautiful things that I discovered in my late teens, having suffered for a couple of years of really excruciating period cramps, was that if I did hard out exercise for 3 weeks and then did no exercise during my period, but got really, really serious about exercise the other 3 weeks, I had virtually no period cramps. And so I would, as of the day that my period ended, I would go out and start 5-kilometer runs every morning. And then 2 days before my period came, I'd stop, I'd wait till it was over again, and then I'd hit it again. But I really learned that if the fitter I got, the less I suffered. And yet when I had my period, just stop. You don't have to do it this week. You don't have to put yourself through this. Just rest. Just allow your body this time. But because of the fitness I was working on the other 3 weeks, my body was very grateful and gave me the prize of no pain.
The much desired prize.
Oh yeah, a much desired prize. I mean, like, I'm not big on exercise, but if you can tell me that with exercise I'll get to avoid pain, I'll try that, absolutely. And it worked for me. That worked. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work for every single woman because each body's different. Okay, but it is learning what works for your body, what's working for you, and what is not working for you. Now, admittedly, we try something for a week and we say, this isn't working. And maybe I didn't try it for long enough. Okay. But at the same time, there's that thing. If you've been doing this for 4 months or 5 months and you're not getting any results, that's not the one for you. You know, by the time you're at the end of 60 days or at least 90 days, you should have tangible results from what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not that one. try something else, and I'm really excited right now. Hey, hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. I'm really excited right now that Mariette, for example, in the Moving Through March, she simply decided that she was going to do dancing every day. What do I enjoy? I enjoy dancing. So I'm not going to do your sit-ups. I'm not doing your planks. I'm not doing your outside runs. I'm not doing your swimming or your water sports or your ice skating or your skiing, whatever it is that you've come up with. I'm doing dancing every day. And I think it's fabulous that she was like, no, this is what I enjoy and I love, and I'm going to try this. And it's listening to, okay, am I going to enjoy this? Am I going to do it?
Yes. And I wanted to try the sit-ups because it had been a while. In that old army in me, it was like, all right, how many push-ups, how many sit-ups? I already knew I wasn't going to run, but I know I like dancing. I know I like walking, and I know I love dancing around the kitchen and hustling around. So it was like, what can I do? Can I do some spins? Can I do some things? Can I do it in the morning a bit, the afternoon a bit? When things are dull and my brain isn't ticking as well as I want it to, because all that energy will start the blood flow, and then I'll be able to create more or listen better. Yeah. So I loved it too. And I thought it was great that Mariette took off and did her own thing. That was encouraging to me. Yeah, let's put a few spins in this thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, the whole purpose of us putting something different each day in the challenge is recognizing that for some people, when they do it, they're going to be, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know my body could do this, or I didn't know I could enjoy doing this. And like something like, as simple as go feed the ducks one day, which we had as, go to the lake, feed the ducks, feed the birds, whatever. Because one of the things that to me was important was understanding that movement doesn't need hard out exercise every day. Your legs don't have to hurt when you're done. Now, maybe they should occasionally. Yes, absolutely. Okay. But you need to move every day. Every day there's got to be some kind of movement, even if it's just gentle. And I loved, for example, Andrea did Qigong.
Yes, yes.
Which was much gentler and softer than I even imagined. Because I've done a little bit of Tai Chi, I've done quite a bit of karate, and I just, in my mind, it'll just be karate slower. No, it's something completely different.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Most helpful. Yeah. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. So coming back to wisdom, being intuition and listening to our bodies, any final thoughts, Nina, on that intuition and that wisdom?
Start with food. Food is always the best place to start with whatever improvement in life we need, because it happens multiple times a day and you have a chance to get it right, to tune in and to listen every day, multiple times a day. So I think that it's the easiest way to start.
Beautiful idea. I would even say, if you want something that you do throughout the day, start even with your breath.
Yes.
Because you're breathing 24 hours a day. Start noticing it. Start noticing if you're breathing shallow up in the top of your chest, or are you breathing deeply all the way down to your belly and really filling up your lungs. When was the last time that you expelled all of the air out, all that old air that's been sitting in the bottom of your lungs for the last 3 weeks because you haven't actually had a good sigh or yawn and got it all out? But, something like your breath even, you're doing it all day long, but start noticing it. Are you getting enough oxygen? Because one of the things that I learned a few years ago was that, you know, when you sit and you do some deep breathing before you're going to work on a document, you oxygenate your brain.
Mhm.
Really give it some great oxygen, and preferably not having eaten too much, or do it before you're going to go eat so that you're actually almost on an empty stomach. You're not hungry, but you're definitely light inside. And those are fabulous moments to concentrate, to just sit and work. But definitely give yourself that breathing, that deep breath, and notice throughout your day, when are your best moments? It is mindfulness, but it's intuitively checking in. Which are my best moments for sitting down for an hour and working on one project? When is my best moment for doing 10 phone calls? And just working out for yourself how that flows in your body with your energy, with your ebb and flow. Because it's really
What happened?
Freeze up somehow.
Yeah, I was just writing that we are frozen, but we are still live and Beth is not here.
Oh,
So,
I was thinking about breath, because at night, when I'm ready to go to bed, I give gratitude for the best thing that happened that day, but I think through several things. And then someone taught me not too long ago about breathing before sleeping to get in a good pattern to empty out the lungs. And that has really, really helped me have a good night's sleep lately, and I love it. But I do really like what Beth said about breathing throughout the day and how it freshens us up and brings all the oxygen to us that we can do better work at whatever work we're doing at the moment. And I also love what you had to say about the diet and the food. That's the first place we could really make a great choice, because we have that choice so many times in a day.
yeah, it allows us to practice the whole day basically. And even between the meals, we can always check in with ourselves and tune in and be like, am I hungry? What's the hunger level? You know, when should I be eating? What do I want to eat? And so on. So it's a really good, I think once we master the intuitive eating, everything else kind of, you know, domino effect goes through the whole life. Yeah.
And it's like, am I really hungry for food, or should I really go outside and walk? Do I need to call a friend? What is good for me in this moment? Or back to the breathing, should I clear my lungs? What is it that I need to be fed besides food, perhaps? But sometimes I get in a situation, I'm not hungry, and it's like, I should eat, but I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. So I have to decide, is there something else I should do right in this moment that will help me feel the hunger when I should be feeling hunger?
Yeah, that's what exactly what I mean. You know, food is the basics, it's foundation, and not only for the intuitive eating, but it's also foundation of health and so on. So it's really a big thing, and we do it all the time. So I think it's a really good place to start.
It's like the platform of everything.
Exactly.
The vital life force is there. What we eat, is the building blocks. Everything
Exactly.
else.
We literally become what we put in our bodies, you know. So it's important to tune in. That is the basics, and then we can talk exercise and so on when we know what we want to eat and how much and when to stop, because that's also biggie for some people. They just don't know when to stop, and especially when we've been dieting for ages and so on, we totally lose that satiety. We don't know when we are full and when it's enough. You know, if I don't know, kale, and then you eat the whole plate and don't even check in if you are hungry at all, but eat it because God knows when is the next time. It's a big one. Food is important.
Yes, and then we have food as an addiction that is, you know, it's the go-to, the high of the eating that folks feed off of. I've been there, and fortunately I've dealt with that. I feel so grateful to have that behind me at this point, but you know, just not knowing, just getting in there and eating for eating's sake, and it's numbing, but not taking the time to ever think about that until something causes a crisis within us that we're like, oh, whoa. So
exactly.
yes.
Yeah. So let's see if Beth is coming. Yeah, she can't come back, but I don't know if we can end this. So anyways, I think that's it for today, people. Beth can't come back, so this is going to work when we just leave the meeting. Aha. Let's see if Beth is coming. Yeah, she can't come back, but I don't know if we can end this. Why do I hear myself? Anyways, I think that's it.
I hear you.
But can come back, so this is going to work when we just leave the meeting. Aha. Great.